had so many talks between.
Mm-hmm.
I've had so many talks between artists and execs,
Mm-hmm.
and that's always been a stipulation, is to artists being like, man, I don't care nothing about them numbers thing and all of this and that, and that's not the way to be. And it's only because it's understanding the business side, and the business side is nobody want to put something in a basket that doesn't have anything, or nobody wants to try to reach in a basket and take something out that there's nothing inside of it. So if you're able to receive a basket that has something inside of it, you have something to take out. So as a business person, that's the thought process, because you can't do nothing without having something. It's just, and that's the way of the world. I don't care if we're talking about music or we're talking about factories. It has to be a product so that we know that it's sellable. And the thing of it is, before we had the social media or online process and understanding these types of things, it was simply word of mouth, and everything was more of a big chance. Right. It's still a chance today, even with the numbers, but at least that takes away some of the mediocrity or ideal that this won't work. You see what I'm saying? It helps to propel. It's easy to propel. Okay, you got 10,000 following. Okay, you got 50,000 following. We got something to propel that to the next level of 350,000 to 1 million followers. And so once we, as a business person, that's the thought process of what we have and what we have to work off of. And that's really misinterpreted a lot of times in most conversations, because one way it's looked at as, yeah, that's what it's for. But then when it comes to the idea, well, man, I don't know how to get these people on my music, because you might have a hot song and you know it's hot, or everybody you let hear it know it's hot, or even us, one of us to know it's hot. But still, we can't say it's hot unless you got a whole bunch of people to say that. We as a team of Art Baron and Money Corp, we've had that discussion several times. We can think something's hot. We think a lot of cats is hot that don't have numbers, but we can't do nothing with it because we're execs. We have to go with what makes sense.
Right.
And what makes sense is understanding, yes, we're doing this for love, but the love is I'm doing something that I enjoy doing and don't feel stressed about, and it's taking care of my family. But at the same note, it's something that the world can appreciate. It has to be that. If it's not that, it's not making sense as a businessman.
Got you. Understood. So it's making that makes a lot of sense.
Here they come.
What's up, bro? How you doing, man? Oh wait, he left out. Okay.
Yeah, that's 50 right there.
That 50 clock right there.
Yeah.
Okay. He punched the wrong button, this thing.
Now, Thea, but how do you get those artists to, okay, because like you said, I totally agree with what you're saying, because our personal preference might not have, it has nothing to do with what the people gonna like, you know? Now, how do you, so how do you relay that message to the artists? Because you got a lot of artists that think they got something hot, but it's like, I might think it's hot, but if they don't, then they just don't do it. They just don't rock with it. You know, how do you relay that message to some of the artists, you know?
That's when the word exec is very, very important, because we're not here to appease. We're here to make money off of our love. So we have to be honest, straight up. I mean, that's my idea. You have to be honest.
Right.
I mean, it's inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, regardless of how dope someone is, that's like me coming back to my artist, Casino Guap. I have well over 300 songs by this guy, and this guy's not known. And that's the typical number for most cats that's been in the game at least 2 to 3 years. or 5 to 6 years, or 10 to 20 years, to have that huge of a catalog and to be able to work off of. So even though he has all of those things, my thought process is, out of 300 songs, I know it's one song that can take the people on a ride for them to be interested in knowing about them other 300. So, or under 299. So that's my thought process is, yes, I see the talent. Yes, everybody I listen to his music see the talent, but I can't get the music solely around to 1 million people to see it. So we have to do what the system has set up for us to be able to do, and that's put it through a platform or a few different platforms today to see how they catch. And I know that things too move with timing. I know that things move with what's going on. And when I say timing, I'm meaning what the people are doing at a particular time, what season it is, what is important, what has been lost, all of these types of things. And so it's just the variables that come with being an artist. You can't get away from, or even setting up a system that helps to move things or propel things to move faster.
Okay. So now is my next question, perfect segue that you said that. So is there, let's say is there a certain time limit that you need to say, okay, the people are just not feeling this artist, maybe you should go try another career? Is there a certain time limit that you put, or you just rock it out until, till whatever happens?
Absolutely not. I don't feel as though that's the case. The reason why is because I understand more times than not, a song that comes out that an artist does, it sometimes is their song that they feel like can do something, but a lot of times it be that song that they just did, and it take other friends or people around them to say, man, you need to put that song out, because it tapped into them and they wasn't there during the creative process. And it just, when you put that out and you get that feedback, that's why I hear a lot of artists in interview situations that say just that. Man, this song I put out, man, I didn't think it was all of that. But once I put it out, it caught, and then it's done what it's to do. It made the difference. And I can speak specifically on one of the artists that we carry, which is Bach. And that's with R. Barron specifically, and 300 situation. He said it himself, just in conversation. Literally, the song is going up in the clubs. Everybody knows that he's a affiliate, and that's the case, and that's what that's the music he's been making. But he just so happened to make that song just on a binge of kicking it one night.
Right.
And he didn't think it was hot at all. He didn't have no idea to put that song out whatsoever. But his entourage that heard it and was around, they begged him. They said, yo, this is it. This is the song you need to put out. So he just said, screw it. All right, since y'all all say that, let's just do a video for it. And he did it, put it up, and he's been going ever since.
Yeah, and that's funny you said that, because when I had Zoe on the platform, Zoe said, when he, Zoe with his undergraduate. Yeah. Zoe said, long story short, he like, bro, he said, I was drunk when I made that song. I woke up the next day. I didn't even realize I made it. He said, I woke up the next day and played it back and was like, oh, okay. And everybody was like, that's hot. You made something hot. And there you have it, So you absolutely right, man. It takes the people around you. So you can't be to new artists, don't be surrounded by a bunch of yes men. You need somebody that's gonna tell you the truth and let you know if that song is hot or not. Because you got a lot of people that'll just shake their head and bob their head to the music just because it's their homeboy music, instead of telling him, no, bro, that's garbage. And that, I think, like you said, people just need to be honest and tell them the truth, you know.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's nothing more, nothing less, you know.
And like I said, that was just something that was just done. It was just done, and it ended up being the eyes or that piece that was put out there that put everybody's eyes on it.
Okay.
And so that's an organic feel. And so that's the practice that we've been doing, but now we got a platform that's willing to ride the course with us.
Okay.
And that's big up to 300 for taking the time to work with us on something like this.
Shout out. Now,
Yeah.
what would be the next step for an artist like a Bop and Zoe Osama that got these songs that's buzzing right now? Are they supposed to, should they hit them with a follow-up single? They follow up mixtapes, or what's the proper way you suggest the artists go after they catch a song like that?
Well, there are two different situations. Osama is one situation, Bop is another.
Okay.
Bop's situation was a point where he was, at that point, looked at and heard, and then he was sought out for. So what happened was, at that point, he's pretty much put himself in a position now where he has people interested in advising what he is to, how he is to take off from there. Okay. And so we're not in no rush to put out any more work, but ever since we've been working specifically with him, I know this is about Feed the Streets, but just giving an example basis of understanding, since that situation has occurred, this guy put that song out late December. It caught flight literally by end of January. And it was on fire coming in and through February, to a point where now people wanted to sign him, and he got signed. Wow. And the song is still riding. I can go back as far as where I paid attention to how the social media world is and the music. I can go back as far as to bring up Rowdy Rich. Rowdy Rich has been able to ride a wave off of basically 4 songs, and before he ever put out an album, and this guy made multi-millions of dollars for him and his camp just off of 4 songs, and that was because they wrote those songs. There's no reason to rush into something else. So the album, by the time that the album put out, he's actually on or close enough, or could be considered freshman pop star ideal by the time his album came out. And people don't even know that, you know, because you heard Rowdy Rich the whole time of COVID. I don't care what Black radio station or urban radio station you would turn on, you're guaranteed to hear Rowdy Rich 10 to 20 times in a day. So his camp had a mean motion going on, and beyond that, it really grabbed the people and it made him grow. We talking about 365 times 2. So and in actual, in those 2 years, he had been out 3 on a point of people paying attention, but he really blew up after 2. And so it's just one of those things where, again, it's just important in knowing how to curate a particular single. And that's where we tell artists all the time, if you are unknown, it doesn't really make sense to put out albums. I hear a lot of artists always talking about putting out albums and they're not known. So if you put out 12 songs, because we're living in an ADHD world, understanding that. Yeah, they're very short span kids today. So if you put out a whole album of 12 songs and they start off with your first and it don't catch them, it's not to say number 9 couldn't have caught them, but they don't spend the time. So that's what's important when you're not known, to put out singles until you get some credibility or concern or care by people to choose to continue to want to hear your music. to finally put out an album. Because you're selling yourself short to put out albums, because you put out 12 albums and you still haven't gotten a certain mark. 12 albums times, I mean, you put out 3 albums, that's 36 songs. And 36 songs are now caught up in a world where it only got 10,000 maybe followers or 2,000 followers. That's unfair to you as an artist when you could have put out each one of those individual 36 songs, and you could have did that in a 3-year period, just putting out one song every month. So in that 3 years, you probably find yourself a sense of success, because that's 36 songs. Out of that 36, if none of them catch, then you might want to reconsider. But out of the 36, and you actually hot, one of those songs is gonna catch. So everything that comes after that is gonna make more sense about being an individual single than not. Because that's, like I said, that's the phenomenon to me about Roddy Ricch. Like I said, if I understand correctly, he was estimated just out of 4 songs put out. This guy made almost 40 million. That's a lot of money just for 4 songs. This is before album. Not saying maybe in his pocket, but
he generated 40
that's what
million.
he was able to pull out of just putting out individual singles. So it's unfair to an artist that's unknown to do it anything different. I mean, it's like everybody, and that's the thing, is we understand too, with dealing with artists, you're dealing with egos. So people feel like they know that they better than Rowdy. They know that they better than whoever else that's in the game. They know that they better than a lot of execs that may give them these types of pointers. But at the same time, the result is what's going to tell you. And if you're a guy that has 300 plus songs, I guess it is cool to put out 12 songs, but just know that out of 12 songs, if none out of those 12 songs in one project put out and not one is the catch, just know you don't waste it.
You don't waste it.
11 songs because you don't put out one. I mean, and it's always that first song that anybody's going to usually take time to listen to, unless they read in the credits of the names of the songs, and it sounds like something they might want to hear. But outside of that, we don't have time to really try to project all of that. So the easiest way to do this is literally just put out single for single. Let each one of your songs fly, because that even helps a lot of these artists, especially that has variety ideas of spitting. That helps them to correlate what style of their full ideas of spitting is to catch just the same. So then if you're thinking business, or a business person looking at this situation, they're going to want you to shoot more towards this direction. That's just like I said with the Bop situation. Him being an affiliate, most of his songs was dealing with the street ideas, but then he did this song for the clubs. So that's what caught the label's attention. So what do you think that they want?
They want that same sound, that same sound that you gave.
Yeah, exactly. They don't care nothing about all your street ideas. They care about you rocking clubs. So you want to base your career, at least with the time being, until you get to a point where it don't matter what you put out. Till you're an NBA young boy, it don't matter what you put out. You put out a dud. NBA young boy today can put out a dud song and it's gonna get 2 million views. Because why? He got all these followers now.
Yeah, he put the groundwork in that. And you know what? That's funny you said that, man, about the singles and roll them out, and instead of just putting out these 12 on here, you can put out 36 songs once a month, or however you want to release it. You can put out two a month, whatever you want to do it, and then just let those songs catch. Because that reminded me of OT Genesis, because he never dropped a full album, but he been running off singles his whole career, and they hot. And yeah, so you know that makes a lot of sense.
He's made millions of dollars single per single.
So you give that time, so you just let the song ride out. That's a trip, man. That makes a lot of sense. You said that.
And then watch this.
Mm-hmm.
And then we haven't even talked about the remixes per song.
And you
Once
do
the
it
song
all
catch
over
flight,
again.
yeah, once the song catch flight, guess what? It's time to do the remix for that. So let's see how much money we can make off of this one song before we give them the whole album.
Woo! And you tore them up before the album even came.
Correct.
And don't mention the follow-up single.
Yeah.
That's a trip, man. That's
yeah.
Hey, Theop, I got a quick question. And I was noticing this in the Feed the Streets Volume 5 chat. Do you feel like, because the cover art is the same, do you feel like it affects anything? Because is it any, like, do you feel like there's confusion somewhere for the listeners? Because the cover art is the same.
Okay. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I can't even say that my own team is gonna feel me on this idea itself. And this is, but I know I come from a background. I know how to draw. I know how to paint. I am an artist when it comes to that. And in regards to that, I come from an era of, I was born in 74. I'm 48. So I'm here to tell you, I've seen over the course of years, I'm not just in the rap, I'm in the alternative, I'm in the rock. It just depends on the vibe of any song, because songs are set up for feels. So it's a song for every vibe or occasion that you can think of. As far as art is concerned, who taught me the best ideas of cover art is the rock world. And when I say the rock world, is as calculated as a lot of people may think they are being with their art that they put on their covers. The only calculated idea or symbolic idea that's important is just a sense of representing who you are. That does not mean that you have to be, your face has to be on there. It just needs to be a sense of what is of you. So when I speak about the rock world, they would do something as far as take a picture of the fact that their grandmama's house that they stayed in forever, and it's trashed and beat up, and they would take a picture of just trash around the porch and put up their name across it and put it out there. So it was taken as, these dudes are wild. That's just it. They're wild. That's just what you would think.
And they don't know that picture is very symbolic.
Yeah, they're wild. That's just what a viewer would think. They're wild. But then when you hear their music and you go back and look at that artwork, you are always able to pick out, yeah, that was them. Because why? It stuck out because of the song. And if everybody keeps doing everything as far as a chain, a watch, and making sure they got their Louis Vuitton shoes and all of their outfits on there, and they got this hard stance of, you don't want to fuck with me, ideals, all of this mess. If you focus so much on that, just understand the energy that it brings. And so if you're trying to be too hard, guess what? You're getting ready to have hard situations that come with it. And it's okay. But if that's your vernacular, that it's okay. But if that's something you're really just extending yourself to really push, because you see that this is the way Lil Baby did his, or Da Baby did his album cover, and that's the way it's supposed to be, that's not always it. That's not always it. And I think that we really got that misunderstanding that we work every day in just something as simple as that. Because me working as long as I have, artwork has held up people from putting out their projects. And that's because they're working too hard to try to put out a certain look as on the artwork, as though that's what's going to determine. And that this doesn't determine to that degree. I haven't heard an artist come on a interview on any talk show and talked about, yeah, man, if it wasn't for my artwork, man, I can tell you, I wouldn't have been able to be sitting here right now. I don't know that situation. I truly don't. I think of notions of Beastie Boys, how they would they rare that they took pictures of themselves and put them on things, but it was more about their lifestyle. So they might take a picture of a whole bunch of red cups sitting all on a table, some turned over, some not, with blunt ashes and weed ashes. An ashtray that's filled with old blunt wrappings or joints or whatever, a bong that's just taken. But you know that that's a representation of who they are.
Right.
And it wasn't this hard vernacular that they was trying to put out. But it worked. It worked for the world. And it worked for the people because they even may have thought, you know, just as a fan, man, they didn't care nothing about all of that. Man, do you hear this music? Do you hear their music? And I just think that that's what's important. So you can. I've even told artists, man, look, you see this sheet of paper? I rip it and give it to them and give them a pen and say, man, write the name of that song on there and write your name on there. Take a picture of that, put that up. Make it simple. Don't mind boggle too hard because that's the thing. Just do something simple as that. It can be that piece that's being remembered for the rest of time. He just wrote his name and basically put a signature of his name on a sheet of paper. Next thing you know, you keep that sheet of paper, you'll be able to put that on the NFT world and be able to sell that little sheet of paper later on once your career blow up into something because people always remembered it.
Right.
And be able to sell it for $100,000, $1 million, depending on the buyer. I mean, and I've understood it that it's been that simple for a lot of people. A lot of my older cats that are my age, that now are in the business still or not, more on the exec side. They got a lot of old stuff that they've had, and now they selling all of this mess. $2 t-shirts that they was doing 20, 25, 30 years ago that they bought, and they ripped it and wrote on it and had other people to write on it, and they able to put it on NFTs now and sell it at 150 to 500 thousands of dollars.
That's no joke.
So that's what I'm saying. It's the simplicity of understanding just who you are and what you represent and showing that to the people in your cover art. But at the same time, focus on your music. That's what needs to be hot. Pay more attention to what's hot out here. It ain't about being like the next person. But if you see a certain vibe that's really propelling, why not jump on that vibe, but still stay yourself? Just to, so at worst case, this is what I always tell them. Jump on that vibe, but still be yourself. At worst case, because that song that is making noise, that you've built a song off of the vibe of a song that's huge, guess what? At worst case, you're going to be put through that same playlist. At worst case, you're going to be put through that same playlist. So if that song is hot, being put through that playlist, that can help you.
Understood. That so that all makes a lot of sense, Dion. That makes a very much sense. Especially when it comes to like the artwork. It's a lot of me because I think like that too. So like there's a lot of symbolic things that you can do that are so simple to place in your cover art, but like you said, it has to be a part of who you are. And then off top, the fans might not even understand it until later on down the road when that artist do come out and say, hey, this is the reason behind this cover art. This is the reason why I did this, or this is the reason why I did that. But you know, yeah, that's pretty cool. So basically you're saying focus on the music, which is the most important. Don't overcomplicate nothing. Don't overcomplicate shit like your cover art. Just let it come out naturally and let it flow and do what you do.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
That makes a lot of sense, man. Now, as far as this, my last thing for you, as far as Feed the Streets Volume 5, because I know Casino Guap is on there. Do you have any other artists or any other songs that
he's not? Casino Guap is not on Feed the Streets 5.
He on 4, not 5.
Right? No. Casino Guap is on Feed the Streets 1.
One.
The number 2 song on volume 1.
Okay.
But again, we put out just a single for him through the 300 platform. This is outside of the Feed the Streets. This is just a single for him. And that was just put out last week, which is the name of that song is called Juvenile.
Right.
But we had another one that we put out maybe 2 weeks ago also. It's called what's the name of it? Bad, something bad. I can't think of it right now. But anyway, go ahead.
No, I was just asking. I was just saying, do you have any, like, as far as Feed the Street Volume 5, do you have any other artists that you work with that's on Volume 5, or did you have any on Volume 5?
No, I have artists that I haven't worked with anybody that's on Volume 5 yet. And I just say yet because pretty much, like I said, with any of them, if they are out here at some point, they've possibly worked with us or worked with one of our artists at some point, or a DJ at some point, or a producer that we deal with at some point. So it's really all, it's just out there. I mean, it's like it's so many different cats from different places. But once they, just like as we was talking earlier about Tyrant. I didn't know Tyrant. I didn't know Tyrant at all. I didn't know how Tyrant became a part of Feed the Streets because he was on Volume 1 too. He was the number 1. He was the first song came out on Volume 1. And so he hasn't had another single we've put out yet. We got it coming in later volumes. But that was a song that really touched a lot of people just the same. But it touched me. And I was interested to know who that guy was. And that's when they told me he was in Louisville and this and that and the third. And I was like, oh, bet. All right, that dude's dope. Next thing you know, I found out he was in LA. He's from Louisville, but he was already out here for some other stuff. And once we found that out, we had him in the studio. And I was the one that worked with him because when it comes to Art Baron and Money Court, I'm more on the, we can say A&R side. I help with development. I do in the management department. I help with development or A&R. I do tour management. I help with concepts about certain things or ideals on things. But I'm not one that ever attempts to try to take the front street on anything. I'm not even the one that normally ever talks. I don't ever care to talk like this. But again, my partners and of the company is not anywhere to be found. So you know, I gotta represent. Bottom line, I gotta represent because this is a movement and it's very, very, very important.
Righteous. And you know what, Theo? With that being said, man, it's so funny because I'm kind of like, I'm very particular, and I'm a person that's always in the house and in the home. I don't really pop out, especially if it's something, you know, I don't like a bunch of drama and all of, you know, and all of the, you know, antics, all the extra stuff. I don't really like that, right? I'd rather stay in the house. But it's so funny because when I linked up with y'all and the whole Art Baron team, bro, it's almost like it's a homey feel for me, bro. Like a home, like it seems like it just from the jump, just talking to everybody, it just seemed so comfortable for me to where it was just like I can really rock. I really like this squad right here, you know. And it's like, you know, and even with you, bro, because I can tell like this, I can tell you straight up, you a blunt person. So that makes you make it easier for me to be me because I'm black and white myself, bro. So I can talk to Theop and Theop, look, bro, I'm just telling you the truth. Ain't no hard feelings. And Theop can turn around and tell me, hey, that last interview you did, that shit was garbage. And I'll be like, all right, I'm not gonna take it offensive. Theop is just straight up. He is who he is, even with just how everybody is, bro. From Doc to Trub to TK to you, everybody just come across as everybody just seemed very genuine, bro. And I like that. That's why, you know, I can dig it. You know what I'm saying? I like to be a part of this whole situation because it's just a genuine feeling. You feel me? And I go based on genuine vibes for me. So it worked for me talking, linking with y'all, you know. So
And I appreciate you for that, bro.
oh, no problem at all, man. So what I'm about to do is
We appreciate you for that.
Oh,
More
man.
That's a better way to put it. We appreciate you.
I appreciate y'all, man. So look, what I'm gonna do is Theo, because I gotta get me something to eat. It don't look like nobody's eating now. So look,
that's right.
I'm gonna go ahead and close this one out right here because I got about what we got about almost 2 hours. So I'm gonna go ahead and just post up me, you, and YungnLivin on the YouTube, and then I'm gonna be back on live tomorrow at 3 p.m. with Feed the Streets Volume 5 again tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you, and I appreciate the combo.
Oh, no problem, Theo.
Hopefully we'll have it better together tomorrow.
Oh, no worries, man. I'm here. We working, man. I'm here. We working still, man. It don't shit happens sometime. It is what it is, but I'm still working. You feel me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate you so much, bro. Thanks for having me on the call, man.
No problem. Appreciate you, Theo. Take care, big bro.
Yes, sir. Good rest of the day.
You too.
All right.